Talking to JF from Kataklysm. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this.
It's no problem at all. Now, you guys were formed in Montreal in 91. Now, what do you remember of that time?
Man, such a long time ago. It feels like it was another lifetime for me. We started in high school, like any metal high school band would form. Like I met a few metal guys in high school, and we just got together, and we at the time wanted to be the most extreme band in the universe, and we formed Kataklysm and that aspect, and we started playing together, had a few shows right away. I guess we got some interest from the local promoters, and they started booking us on local shows and things like that. And we made our first demo very early. We had written 5 songs, and we went right away in the studio and recorded 4 of them. And just not long after that, got a record deal from Nuclear Blast Records, and we were still very young, and we didn't really know how to deal with all that. But we got signed, went into the studio with a bigger producer, and released our first album. And I think we were not even 16, 17 years old back then. And when we got thrown on the road with really big bands in Europe and North America and things like that, so we got an early start, and we were not really ready or prepared for it. But with the years, I think we learned the trade a lot better, and we were writing better songs and I think we know what we're doing right now, and we enjoy what we do very much. So it's a long story short, but it's been 27 years later, and we're still around and loving it, and we keep on going.
As you mentioned, signed to Nuclear Blast very early, and you mentioned almost not ready for that. Was the scene in Canada ready for you, or did you have to sort of get out to get to your market, as it were?
The Canadian scene has been really we were lucky because we come from a country and a city that the scene is super strong. There's always been tons of musicians and tons of fans as well to listen to the music, and so we got used very early in our career to play to bigger crowds and to play to insane crowds, and it was kind of a shock for us to start touring the world, because we realized later that our scene is actually really good compared to some other cities and countries around the world. So because the image you have when you're 18, 16, 17-year-old, and you're coming from a city like Montreal, you think it's the same everywhere else, but then you realize that it's not. And you feel very lucky about where you're from. And I think that's how we felt. But we discovered other countries and other scenes that were pretty strong, like Germany and Austria, Switzerland. Some of these countries have very strong scenes as well. And some big cities in the U.S. scene as well. But it was a blessing that we were from Montreal, and in another sense, harder maybe, because back in those years in 1991, 92, the big stronghold where bands were getting signed were either Florida in the U.S. or Sweden. And if you were not from those two countries, back in those years, it was really hard to even conceive to get a record deal. But we managed to come out somehow, and we got an offer with Nuclear Blast, which is one of the big labels, and we got really lucky. I can't say any otherwise, just because I think we had what it takes with the energy and the anger and the creativeness of things, but we were not by any means like a professional band. We were just kids.
Did you have any idea, did it even enter your head when the band started, that Maurizio would, who was playing bass at the time, would end up or could end up on lead vocals. How did that come about? Bit of a weird situation, isn't it?
We had no idea at all because he was the bass player and he always did the back vocals on the earlier stuff. And when Sylvain quit the band after the Temple of Knowledge record, we went into a little period of time where we didn't know what we wanted to do. And if we even wanted to continue as Kataklysm, so we had to think a lot about what we were going to do, because it was only me and Mauricio left in the band. The drummer we had on Temple of Knowledge, Nick, he quit, and Sylvain quit. So it was just us two, and we decided to call Max, our first drummer, to see if he wanted to play with us again. And he had a little bit of a beef with Sylvain, so when he learned that Sylvain was gone, he jumped right in his drumming spot, and he was happy to join us again and play drums for us again. And then we weren't sure what we were going to do as far as vocalist, so we came up with the idea of, like, if we keep going playing Kataklysm as Kataklysm, then we should have somebody from the band singing instead of bringing somebody new. So because people knew Maurizio already, so that's why he chose to take over vocals. And we kept going for a little while as a 3-piece, but then we realized maybe it's better to be a 4-piece. And Mauricio had the idea, maybe we should get a bass player and I'll just be the vocalist. And that's how it went. So we found Stefan, that was a friend of Max, was one of his best friends. So he joined in, and we restarted as Kataklysm, the Kataklysm you guys know today.
Your latest album, Meditation's been out almost a year now. How's that one going for you?
Very well. We're so happy with the response of the fans, and actually the sales and the streams. Because nowadays you qualify the success of an album through how much streaming you're getting through all these new platforms. So the label is super excited because we're surpassing anything we've done almost in our career with this new album. It's just, it's a slow and steady upward slope, and we're getting more and more traction and attention every record we're doing. So it's exciting, and it's exciting to see that the fans like it. Because sometimes we take decisions and we're not sure if fans or the industry is gonna like what we do, but we kind of do it for ourselves, and we want to please our fans as well. But sometimes we take decisions and just you're not sure if it's the right one, but that's what you feel in your gut, and you just go for it. And it's exciting to see the results a year later.
Let's talk about these two shows coming up in Australia. May the 3rd in Sydney at the Metro, May the 5th at 170 Russell Street in Melbourne. You're coming with Hypocrisy. Have you toured with these guys before? Yes,
we're so excited about those shows. We haven't been to Australia in 5-6 years now, so it's very excited. We're very excited to be back and have the opportunity to come back again. And with Hypocrisy, they are a band we toured with. Really happy to tour with them again, and it's an arrangement we did before we released this new album. And Hypocrisy, they were talking about coming back because they were not a band for almost 5 years now. They just decided to come back and tour again and put out some new music. So they're working on a new album, and they were very excited to do this whole world tour with us. And it's so far so good. We did all of Europe together. Now it's Japan and Australia in May, and we're gonna do some more shows in South America and other parts of the world.
What happens next for Kataklysm after Australia? Have you thought about the next album yet?
After Australia, we go straight to Japan, and then after that, we have a bunch of open-air festivals throughout the summer in Europe, and we have big stuff in Canada. We're playing Heavy Montreal, which is the biggest open-air festival in Canada, in July, and we're going to be in Sweden, we're going to be in Germany, we're going to be a little bit all over the place over the summer. It's busy times. We all have families and children's, and also I do a second career on the side. I'm a music producer. I run a recording studio, and I work with tons of bands there, and it's just nonstop craziness for me. But that's how I like it. I'm not the type of guy to sit and do nothing. I need action, and I need to be doing something. So it's exciting. I prefer to be busy than not busy, for sure.
All right, JF from Kataklysm, absolutely magnificent talking to you today. Thanks for taking the time and taking my call. Congratulations on everything so far, and we look forward to 2 massive shows in Australia, May the 3rd in Sydney and May the 5th in Melbourne. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much, and see you all there. We're so excited about those shows, and I think it's going to be massive. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys real soon.